Drop the diffuser. 15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Area of operation. Attackers bomb. Seconds to go.
Hello everyone, how are you all doing tonight? Today, rather, should I say, is going to be an interesting tournament. So this is going to be Pharmacy's tournament, as you will see from the title, or as you will know, because Pharmacy himself or somebody along those lines has invited you. So basically, it's going to be a one-off thing. Double elimination tournament. I don't think he has planned, a series regarding those events. But one thing is for sure, as far as, my community and my streaming is concerned, this is somewhat new, somewhat unique. And, like I said, basically, as far as I know so far, a one-off thing. And therefore, we have new teams, new talents, new playstyles, and all that kind of stuff.
Because I'm a copper.
I'm just going to mute that right now. Team Sage against Team Orion. Like, usually I would go into some kind of analysis. What do you know of these two teams? What kind of playstyle do they tend to have? Who is likely to win? But to be honest, I have no idea whatsoever. And that will be my introduction, because I have not much more to say to that. The map bans have been on off stream, so I couldn't tell you exactly, which match, which game, which map has been banned previously, and that can sometimes give you a small idea, I want to say, of how the teams think. But it's still, only very slight and very light, that is for sure. But ultimately, this is basically it. We have 9 players in so far, just waiting for the 10th to log in. It's going to be Team Sage, who are still waiting for a player. If we were to just cycle through their rankings, you do have a Platinum... Wrong button, and luckily for me, that didn't disconnect me. Plat 2, Plat 1. And he is going to be Diamond. And... Snui, I am not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that, is also going to be Platinum 2. On the other end, it looks like the rankings are... Is this a Smurf account? Please tell me this is a Smurf account. Because if not, the match is going to be an absolute blowout. I rarely, if ever, see Copper, to be honest, in a competition. Let's just say that extremely low ranked players usually aren't the type of players that will try to play in comp. So there's that. This is what I wanted to point at. Ultimately, it's just a waiting time, a waiting game. Eventually the last player will join in, then we will be good to go, and we can see what gives, actually, right? Are these players really silver, bronze, and platinum, or silver, bronze, and copper, or are these I want to say Smurfs? Are they really good? Ultimately, it remains to be seen. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, let's unmute the players and see what they have to say for themselves. They are not too talkative, but hey, if ever they were to start talking, we could hear them a bit better, and then we could, have an idea of what's going on. Because I do believe we heard a fairly young voice talking earlier, and that can give you, like I said, a small indication of what's happening. Okay. With all that being said, for the time being, however, we're still just waiting for the last player, and they had said that he had a few technical difficulties, that it would take some time, and I figured it would be the right moment, to pop off the stream or to start it up, but apparently I may have gone at it a bit too early. As far as today's stream is concerned, or for the tournament as a whole, there is only going to be 2 games, or 2 levels, should I say. So it is double elimination. There are 8 teams in total, which makes for, I believe, 7 games in the tournament as a whole. Only the first 2 stages will be played today, and the remainder will be played tomorrow. Tomorrow, I personally will have some other obligations, i.e. the Cerberus tournaments. Therefore, I'll not be casting, let's say, the later stages of this very game. Or of this very tournament, rather. And therefore, well, it is what it is. Okay. So ultimately, since things seem to be somewhat slow right now, how are you guys all doing? Welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. Who is there? Let your presence be known. And let's have a chat, basically. Can we somehow see somewhere how many people are there? Because I'm also trying something new.
We've got someone that they're just joining, so give them a sec.
Amazing. That is
I'm so sorry
great.
for the hold up.
Wait, can you say that again? I didn't hear what you said.
I said I'm so sorry for the hold up. We've literally just been digging through Discord for someone.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, so they were actually looking for a sub. Oh, as the game was supposed to start. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate because, of course, if they are digging for a sub, well, then the substitute player might not know the the strategies, the strap hook and all that good stuff of the team, and that might also have some type of impact, and this could, realistically speaking, impede the team's performances. Unfortunately, it remains to be seen. We'll see that as it comes. So, Nerfed, thank you for following the channel. Welcome on the stream. Welcome to the community. How are you doing? And I hope you will enjoy your stay.
And we're
Yeah,
still digging.
For the time being, things are really you know what, I feel like I'm just dragging this out, and like I'm not providing too much value, because at some point I'm out of things to say. So I think I'll kick us into the be right back screen, and we'll be back as soon as the game is good to go. Sounds good, guys? See you in a bit.
I love you, Hans.
So,
Seconds left. Swapping back. the bomb. 5 seconds remaining. Attackers bomb defused. 15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. Attackers have recovered their defuse. Attackers have dropped the bomb. Attackers bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers bomb diffuser has been dropped. Ten seconds remaining. Bomb located by attackers. Before notice can be held as a neutral. Attackers dropped the defuse. Hostile domination. Attackers dropped the defuse. 15 seconds left.
So we would be back.
Let's go.
Are
Good
are,
luck and have
are
fun.
are you all ready?
Ready.
Are your anti-cheat mosses
Yeah, we're
running
all
and all
ready.
that good stuff?
Please.
We're all ready.
Please.
All right. Well, good luck, have fun, and may the best team win.
Good
Yes,
luck,
sir.
have fun.
And with that being said, we will be good to go.
We know.
So, this is going to be round number 1 of Pharmacy's tournament. We are 25 minutes late, so 25 minutes behind schedule, but that is nothing too major. And yeah, so that match, or that map right here is quite interesting. It would be, you know, one of the latest maps to be added to the current competitive map pool, and therefore it's one of the maps where, as a community, we don't yet know like every single nook and cranny of it, right? The single best way of attacking it is, well, being figured out slowly but surely. Ultimately, our map knowledge, and let me just turn off that sponsor because that sponsor is not active right now. Ultimately, our map knowledge is not as great as, let's say, for example, Clubhouse. Clubhouse, of course, which has been in the competitive map pool ever since the map came out. And yeah, it did go through a rework. So let's, for example, talk about instead the let's talk about the consulate map. That would also be one of those maps that is you know, in the rotation ever since the game launched, and that map never ever changed. So, you know, the strats, the ways of attacking, of defending have been figured out through and through, but not exactly on Oregon. Not since the rework, not since it's got re-added to the map pool, to the rotation. And here we will have our map bands, or upper bands rather. Thermite Thatcher, doesn't come to any surprise. Echo and Mira, so Echo would be considered really annoying, and Mira, this map was one of her strongest maps, right? Because Echo, of course, no matter the map, no matter the bomb site, there's always going to be attackers trying to get the diffuser planted. But Mira is really map dependent. Her gadget is only as useful as the line of sight you can create by, you know, basically breaching the wall in an indestructible fashion. You know, I might be, you know, oversimplifying things here, but the idea is, if there's no interesting wall in which were you to create a hole, if you were to not have a good line of sight, or if it was to not be quite interesting to do that, well, then Mira as a whole becomes pointless. And, you know, by virtue of her being extremely map dependent, she can be either really, really good or mediocre at best. She's not, you know, outright useless. But yeah, this map right here, Oregon, was one of her strongest, and that's why she's going to be banned, rather than, say, for example, a Maestro, because Maestro can also be really strong, like he is really good when it comes to destroying, you know, a few piece utility, drones namely. He can deny a plant. He can also just be a pain all around, because he can feed so much intel without, or with only very little, you know, worries about getting himself destroyed. Plus, he can be a really good plant denial operator. So all in all, Maestro, for example, could have been an extremely good ban as well. But it just so happens here that Sage, they went for, no, Orion rather, they went for Mira instead. Our first defense here is going to be a laundry room. We are going to have the electrical right here, which barely does not cover apparently the hatch. That is likely to hit the hatch, but then the walls would not be no, the wall will be protected, not the hatch though. That is unfortunate. Somehow he's just gonna miss his utility placement, and if Pickle was to be, you know, distracted by that electro claw for too long, he might even become himself a fairly weak or inattentive target, right? And if he's not ready to receive the pressure himself, things might fall apart pretty quickly. It remains to be seen, right? But it would always be possible. Of course, there is going to be electricity here as well. Is the electro claw tossed outside like it sometimes is? Doesn't appear to be the case. I can't quite see it, but it's likely, you know, stuck to the ceiling, and that's why we cannot get the line of sight on it from the third-person player perspective. So for the time being, it looks like the attack will be at kind of a standstill. Sage will need a way to open up or to destroy the electro claw to manage to destroy the or to breach the reinforced walls, which is likely not to be too easy. Doc here will be running after the drone, but as you can see, unfortunately for our little Josh, he did nothing to say assertive to protect the drone, and therefore it's just going to get destroyed. Holding the angle like he is, that is nice and all. I mean, if he was to get picked here, he likely would get the kill, but no, he's hesitating at the wrong moment. Unfortunately, Anti-66 is going to get the first kill, and the attackers are now juiced up. So that would be a really good moment for them to just try to peek in. For example, here, the G8 is a really good gun, but it's somewhat too heavy, somewhat too slow, too sluggish. And this is where, you know, being juiced up, I think it could have been really interesting. But unfortunately, it's not going to work out. NT66 now with a double kill, looking for a third. He's going to quick peek, but there is Blackbeard right here, who will lose his first shield. That was another impact grenade. And he gets a third, looking for a fourth. He does not get it, unfortunately, leaving us with a 2v4, rather 1v4 situation. Thicknut now in a tough spot, to say the least. He gets the first pick. That is good and all, but he's going to need a few more. That's going to be a triple kill. All in all, he is now on his way to get an ace. On his right, there is going to be smoke. Yeah, and there's going to be digital on the other hand side. So all in all, no easy response to Thicknut's problem here. He did hear Dog pre-firing. He's gonna have a general idea of his positioning. Digix is not gonna receive a stray bullet through the wall, but you also know that there's a smoke up, and he seems to expect Mendes to be on the right hand side, but he can only do so much. He had to commit to one push to peek on the one hand side on one angle, and he was able to get the kill on Doc. So that was a quad kill. All in all, nicely done. Really do want to commend the effort. Ultimately, it was just too little, too late, and it will be a first round won by the orange team, by Orion. And I gotta say, I was becoming somewhat worried for the attack, because they were losing badly, right? 1v4 situation, that is nothing to laugh at. And then Sage, more specifically Thicknot, was able to almost bring this back on his own. So once again, you do have to commend him for that. Ultimately, it was just not enough, so nicely tried. Better luck next time is what I'm going to say here. And one thing is for sure, the opening stages of the round may have been tough, but Sage almost were able to pull through. So let's take a look at round number 2. Ultimately, if I was to put it that way, it looks like a few players were having a difficult time. For example, let's remind ourselves that little Josh, so he was playing hard breaching, he was playing Hibana, and he was the one holding the angle, quite, peeking aggressively and being the point man. But utility-wise, Hibana would be kind of VIP, and you don't want to lose her to an unfortunate first firefight. So that was something that got me surprised. Then you had, one or two more defenders, or attackers rather, who peeked the angle to the pillar, and they themselves were like peeking sloppily in a sloppy manner, and that caused them to once again be caught off guard, even though they were the ones peeking. Andy66 here is going to be playing aggressively. He wants to get a spawn kill over there, but unfortunately it doesn't look like the attackers, all 4 out of 5 of which are going to be spawning there, by the way. So the potential of getting a spawn peek is great, but he was looking the wrong way. He is still going to be committing, and he seems to hear them. He gets the first, looking for a double. He does get it. That is absolutely going to be attracting some attackers' attentions. And he has not received any damage dealt to himself in return. So this pawn peek, in and of itself, has been a flawless success. Though, not an all-out success. I mean, there were still 2 other attackers, which he could have gunned if he was to be more aggressive, more assertive, or luckier. And the rules, it said no spawn killing, right? I'm no expert with pharmacy's rules, so I couldn't tell. It was 20 seconds in, spawn killing. So yeah, if the players do want to, raise a protest or all in all disagree with what just happened here, it would be up to them to kind of poke pharmacy in this instance to ask how and, what's allowed, what isn't, and then we can know, basically. And by the way, I have received a poke from the pharmacy Discord server, which says, okay, well, it's just on everyone. It's not like if I in particular had to think or to make sure that something didn't go wrong on my Sir, can you repeat that? Because I did not get the last message here. So, sure. I cannot type. Can you please check the rules for us? Sure. Sure. Give me a minute. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna be poking pharmacy real quick. Yeah, so sorry for not casting too much. Our spawn kills allowed. The players seem unsure. 2 seconds, 9 cents. So yeah, as soon as SOON, as the spawn kill does not happen within the first 2 seconds of the rounds they are allowed. I.e., goddammit, no instant. No instant spawn kills, which was not the case here. So that spawn killing was actually legitimate. So I have kind of, you know, missed out on the last round here, but it was overall a Bunks defense, which was of course successful for Orion, and therefore they'll be pushing to their tertiary bomb site, which is going to be meeting hall and kitchen. And let's see what happens from there. Those 2 kills were done after 2 seconds, so I'm assuming we're Gucci. Indeed, everything on my end is going to be fine. But ultimately, I am no referee, so I can only, you know, assume or make educated guesses. I am no authority as far as, you know, interpreting and applying the rules go. So if you have a dispute which you don't want to rely on me to, you know, basically be the owl between the game and pharmacy, reach out to him yourselves, and you will have, you know, the clearest response directly from the source is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so one thing is for sure. This next round, Sage are likely to be a bit more cautious about not getting spawn peeked, right? So let's take a look at this. Are there going to be any spawn kills attempts made? NT66 might be a prime candidate. He had a camera outside. He was himself on the camera. I was not exactly looking out the window, but still, he was grabbing intel, just not with his own 2 eyes, but rather with the camera. And as you can see, it looks like Sage have no idea they're being observed. Like Meme, he is nuts. Reacting like he knows the defenders have intel on him. So this might put him into a really tough situation right here. There, for example, you're gonna have a run out, which is gonna leave Meme severely, you know, hindered. He is still alive though, low on health as he is. Ultimately, what matters is that you still have your gun up ready to shoot. And on that instance, Anti unfortunately failed with his spawn killing attempt or run out attempt. And unfortunately, you know, the old door right here no longer exists, so there's no easy run out for NT66. And actually, he is likely to receive some amount of pressure pretty quickly. For example, right here, you will be seeing little Josh, who might attempt to flush him out, though he doesn't seem to know exactly where Valkyrie is. Not that I would assume the attack knows his whereabouts. Of course, he has not been droned after all. But there is going to be a little Josh here being, just somehow surviving round after round, shot after shot, but eventually the shotgun will find its target, and that's not a fuser lost. And therefore, you know, Smoke is in an extremely strong positioning. The flash grenade here might be a bit of a detriment, but nothing too major. And looking at it right here, there is nobody that can actually just come in. The remaining 4 attackers are actually outside, and if they want to set foot on that, you know, they want to recover the diffuser, they likely will have to jump through the window, which would be a really sure way for them to just basically die at Mendez's fire. So it would not be too wise of them to vault through that window, and therefore they're going to have to look for an alternative route in. What exactly can you do? This is going to be a tough question, because of course there are always multiple ways in, right? You could, for example, rappel onto that window right here, but then you'd be somewhat exposed to that breached window, which I do believe Pickle was watching a few moments before. So ultimately, at this point, Mendez is just playing for time, and even though only a single kill has happened, Sage, you know, situation-wise, they are looking really, really stretched thin. You're gonna have Thick Nut, who's pushing on his own. He just realized there was a Valkyrie cam, and it looks like Anti will be looking for the kill. Oh, the wildbang just doesn't happen, and he will be reloading as he gets pushed. That is gonna be first kill for Sage here. But ultimately, they do not have the diffuser. They have to rush in. Things were just way too dire. And of course, that didn't work out properly either. So, Orion now leading 3-0. I don't want to make an assumption too early into the game, but should things keep on going the way they are, it looks like Orion would be on their tracks to win a swift and decisive, brutally decisive victory here. So yeah, things can always, you know, happen. Sage could just wake up. Their playstyles could just adapt to their opponents' way of doing things, or, you know, when they get the defensive side, maybe they will start winning their rounds. But ultimately, for the time being, as things stand, I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel for Sage's predicament here. things once again can also always the tables might turn in a split second, but I don't see anything that would indicate to me that the tables are about to turn, you know. And that would be the general situation in which we are right now. Therefore, let's take a look at the next round. Round number 4, it is going to be, you know, the halftime and the rule swap is fast approaching. And this is going to be, of course, another laundry defense. So basically, we're going for another cycle, you know. They wanted their primary, secondary, tertiary bomb side. Now Orion are back in their original spots, and they will be doing basically the same thing as they did before, or at least I assume, because that recipe was apparently a winning recipe. However, I would have been proven wrong by Orion's actions here. You will be seeing this breach into the wall. And that breach in particular, you know, is going to enable them to hold a forward most position, and that could be really interesting because now Orion will be more, so much more aggressive. Like, the one thing I do want to point out is before the walls were reinforced and electrified, and with no Thatcher, and you know the ceiling is destructible, so you cannot use Sledge, IQ, or Buck to just breach the ceiling. And let me just block this. Thank you very much. You may get out of the chat. Give me a second. There we go. As a matter of fact, no, I do not want to become famous. Okay. And by the way, buying followers, or you know, just buying bot followers that or bot viewers, that is not how you grow. Ultimately, that is worthless. Okay, back to the task at hand. What is happening here? So, like I was referring to, the walls were reinforced, and it looks like Sage previously didn't have any ways to open them up. And right here, it's going to be basically the same thing. Red Panda, I can chat about that. Unfortunately, there is going to be no real way of breaching those reinforced walls, as you have no Thermite, which is banned. You have no Hibana or no Maverick. So here, it remains to be seen if they were going to lose blue bunker control, but it would be, in theory, a potential weakness into their defenses. And right here, unfortunately, the drone is going to jump on the reinforced shield, on the deployable shield. Apparently, it looks like there's going to be an electric claw deployed specifically to protect said shield, and that is weird. You don't see this too often. Right here. There. Why is... That's Annie? Why is anti-knifing mid-air here? I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I don't know. But it looks like all 5 of the attackers are bunched up together here. And therefore, there's absolutely no finesse to the push. No flanking attempts, no, you know, surprise or anything along those lines. It's just going to be, you know, a face-to-face firefight. And whoever ends up winning the gunfights is going to take the round. Plus, a solid chunk of time has already been used up by Sage. And next to nothing to show for this. So ultimately, right now, Orange is just better. It might very well be the case. For the time being, things are looking really good for them. Oh, Red Panda has left it. And he's been removed from the match by BattlEye. What? Wait, what? Okay. Why did BattlEye remove him? I couldn't tell you. And right here, we're going to have Digital getting a nice kill. Meme is also down, so that leaves you with a 2v5, 2v4 situation. Now Thicknut is going to get a kill. And, of course, Meme is going to be revived at the same time. So this is going to mitigate, you know, the numerical advantage that Orion had. But it doesn't change the global situation. Timer is running critically low. And you still have a numerical disadvantage with a few players really low on health. Of course, the predictable outcome is going to happen. So, are the players going to ask for a rehost? You know, I, as a caster, as basically I'm not really the organizer, but I'm still, you know, an official in that sense of the word. I cannot have an impact on the game, so I'm not gonna suggest to Sage, hey guys, do you want to have a rehost? If they ask for one, of course they're entitled to one, but it is not gonna be up to me to remind them or to invite them to use up that right, or to use up that say wild card, to put it that way. Can I see GG? You can. Is your guy coming back? That is a good question, because I have never seen somebody be, you know, flat out disconnected by BattlEye. So I don't know if you can actually reconnect, because if your internet connection was just to falter, and if you were to, you know, lose the contact with the game server, you could just log back in at a later time as soon as, you know, the technical problem has been resolved. But here, that seems to be a different, say, situation, and that's got me worried, to say the least.
Attackers have discovered the location
Okay.
of a bomb.
So Snooey Orion here is going to be reinforcing and protecting the reinforced wall right here. By the way, how are you supposed to pronounce that gamer tag? Like, I could ignore the N and say Swee. Is Snooey? Snooey, yeah, I guess is pronounceable. But it still feels weird to say it out loud. In my humble opinion, at the very least. I need some water. Okay. Nonetheless, it looks like Sage will not be asking for a rehost, and therefore a 4v5 situation right off the bat is going to be enabled, which is somewhat unfortunate, I gotta say. I do like to see Amaru, because maybe Sage were playing it too slowly, and maybe being more aggressive could actually throw Orion off guard. Let's see exactly how things are going to proceed, though. So, it looks like little Josh right here is not going to be playing too aggro, you know, breaching the window in a predictable fashion. But is there not somebody right here? So Anti could actually attempt to run out. He is going to do so, and that's going to result in a first kill for him. Now, 3v5 situation. Thicknot apparently was trying to protect, but he did not exactly have the right angle to get the kill there. And that is going to leave us with a stagnating situation. And if we have learned anything from those previous games, it's that this kind of situation here tends to stagnate for a long time. You know, Meme is just going to hold the angle, hoping for a lucky kill, which, looking at Orion's playstyle, might not come. They are not going to peak in a disadvantaged situation. And, you know, Orion are more than happy to just wait out for the timer to come at a critically low point and force Sage to rush in a highly unfavorable situation, right? Thicknot was looking at that door, at that window, but the wall right here is not soft, is not breachable, so you cannot get a wall bang on Pickle. Pickle's gonna know that you're coming, though, and that is gonna be an extremely easy kill. And I gotta say, like, what kind of operators you have? Just using a concussion nade from Zofia could be a good asset to, at the very least, help you out to gain some advantage in the firefight. But, okay, so right here, Cernat is already out of ammo. That is why they weren't using the utility. And you know, Thicknot doesn't exactly have flash grenades or anything along those lines. You do see the laser pointer, though, so he knew the angle was being watched, was being held. And Pickle will be usually in a tough situation right here, because it is extremely easy for the attackers to cut him off if they were just to hold some angles, right? But ultimately, even though his position is known, even though he is isolated, I mean, no help is coming, he was still being an extremely effective thorn in the side of Sieg's push. Sage. It's Sage, right? But they still got the kill. Ultimately, that is all that matters. However, it is going to leave them somewhat exposed. I mean, the timer is once again running out, and it took them everything to get only the one kill. So now, for example, your next challenge is going to be a roamer, a mobile roamer, might I add. And if you cannot kill him immediately outright as soon as, you know, visual contact has been made, well, then he is just going to evade you. He's just going to run away, right? So here, Anti is absolutely ready. Cernat knows he has to push in. And, of course, the predictable result happens. Orion winning round number 5. So, yeah, it is unfortunate that they are not asking for the rehost, because the 4v5 situation absolutely does not help them out. That is for sure. But hey, like I said, it is gonna be let's say Sage's predicament. And once again, I am not at liberties to help them out at risk of, you know, breaking the games or the match's integrity. So we're going to be seeing Glass played. That is going to be a new addition for Sage's composition. For the last round before the rule swap, might I add, Digital is going to be playing Capcan, so that is also going to be a slight variation on their usual playstyle. I mean, playing with trap operators, you don't see this every single day.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And, of course, our next defense, and last defense for Orion as far as they're concerned, barring any overtime situation, is going to come to meeting. And as we can see, they're absolutely going for an extended hold. So you'll be seeing both NT and Orion protecting, or Jittle rather, Orion, that's their team's name. They're going to be holding, they're going to be setting up an extended hold by defending the dining room area. Kitchen seems to be minimally defended. I mean, no reinforcement. The hatch is going to stay as is. The walls as well. And it's really going to be, you know, to the left and to the right of the building. It's of the reinforced of the room itself. Goddamn, I'll get it. Of the room itself, that the defenses will be set up, right? On the one hand side, you don't need to reinforce like this wall right here, if you know the room next to it isn't even attainable for the attackers. Same thing holds for the other side of kitchen, but on the other side of the kitchen, there's the meeting hall, and of course that'd be a bomb site itself. So if the attackers were to have control of meeting, why would they ever push into? Yeah, you kind of missed out there. Why would they ever push into kitchen, right? So Pickle seems to be your point man this time around. So he is going to be right here by the door. Not peeking, not exposing himself, but he is ready to do so should the need arise, right? Snui for himself is going to be on construction site, or just droning construction site, making sure to know where the push is coming from. But it looks like, first of all, not too many cameras have been destroyed. Plus, it looks like the attackers, simply put, are not in the camera's field of vision. And right here, Digital, you're playing with no ADS, with no sight on. That is unusual, but hey, if it works, why not? One common thing you'd see as far as the kitchen defense is concerned would be top floor control. I mean, the hatch here is not reinforced. The floor is entirely destructible. And yet, Orion are not pouring too many resources to defend the top floor. You will have the one player right here, so that would be Snui, who is in big tower. Oh, and he is likely to get a one tap here. Nicely done. But that positioning is not going to actually contribute to keep the hatch intact, for example, or to deny the floor of being destroyed from A to Z. So I was going to say Cernat does have some nice, a nice kit here. You know, he has 2 impact nades plus 3 breaching charges. But now he got a one tap to the face. You still do have Little Josh and Sir Thicknot, who both of them do have a 3 nice little breaching charges. But once again, it doesn't look like taking top floor control is Sage's top priority. So for the time being, it is once again going to be one of those typical stagnating situations. Anti and Pickle will be right here. Pickle getting a nice kill with the Nitro Cell. And as soon as momentum is lost, Sage are no longer sure what to do. Right here, Anti will get another kill, leaving us with Little Josh, last player alive. And he'll be receiving a lot of bullets from beneath. Orion winning round number 6 that way. Thicknot saying that wasn't smart, I'll admit. Yeah, the positioning was kind of predictable, wasn't it? And at this point, we are on our way to get a flawless victory. You know, a perfect match, a perfect game for Orion. Things are looking really, really well, I gotta say. Orion sweep, baby, let's go. Those my boys. So, yeah. Mr. Dexter Waffles, it looks like your team is underway. Why American server, North American League? Yeah, the Central US servers are standard as far as North American games are concerned. Wait, do they have like a crazy high ping? Little Josh does have a ping that would be somewhat higher, what you'd expect. But then again, I mean, I don't know the players individually, but should they be, or should Little Josh, for example, be from Hawaii? And there's no way for him to play on an American server without, you know, being over 100 milliseconds of ping. But 160, you know, 160 milliseconds. That might also be him playing from Europe. I don't know, right?
ATS deployed and ready to go.
And Little Josh here, playing with Malusi. I have not yet seen this operator too often, and thus I'm still struggling to remember the name. Playing with Malusi. That operator might be banned as far as the game is concerned. And therefore, Little Josh might be in a bit of a pickle here. Forcing Sage to team kill would be really, really unfortunate. But there's a 6 pick. They could have 6 pick to take Malusi off. Nonetheless, so I am no referee. I cannot make a judgment call. But what I'd like to say is, you know, you guys of course know why there is the operators that are banned at the beginning of a season, right? It's to ensure that they're not crazy OP like Klein was when he was at it. He totally broke the balance of the game. However, Melusi is not bringing any new guns to the table, right? It's just a new kit and a new gadget. And that gadget, though it's not OP, the guns, though it may not be OP, the guns certainly aren't. And therefore, allowing her to maybe play with the guns instead of TK could be an interesting, say, scenario. But ultimately, it is not going to matter too much. Mr. Dexter Waffle is asking, LMAO, what's the 4v5? Why was it at this point that's a 4v5? A player had been kicked from the lobby by BattlEye. Like, it didn't say banned by BattlEye or anything along those lines. Just removed from the game by BattlEye. And it looks... It looks like they weren't able to connect back in. And like I said, you know, verbally to the stream, they are allowed to have a rehost. But I was not going to suggest it to them because that would, you know, give them the idea, and I had to have no impact or no incidents on the game or on how the game was played. So with them not asking for said rehost, I of course was not going to suggest it to them. So,
Yeah, so what
there
do we
you
do
have
now?
it. That is actually a really good question. I would have to ask Pharmacy. You know what? I'll give the scores to him. He is going to import them or
Good game.
to type them into challenge. And then we can prepare the next lobby. But yeah, good game, guys.
GG's,
It was
thanks for casting, Hans.
no. You're welcome. Thanks for playing. It was a nice game. It is unfortunate that you lost a
by the way-
player.
By
Yep.
the way, next time can the... Yeah, sorry. Just saying, next time can the servers be English? Because we have a better ping ratio on them.
it's an
and I don't
NA
get
league.
1,000 ping.
No, it's an NA league. So you shouldn't even be in this league in the first place.
So I'm the referee.
I thought it would be like any.
So
No, it's
little
NA.
Josh, I am no referee. I cannot, you know, make a definite comment on that. As far as I know, it is an NA league, so yes, NA servers are going to be picked, but maybe some sort of, you know, middle grounds, such as selecting the Eastern Coast servers rather than the Central servers, could be something that might be, you know, made to accommodate you guys next round. But of course, Pharmacy is going to have the final say on that front. So you're better off asking him, because of course, once again, that's not my decision to make.
Okay, thanks.
Alright.
Thanks for the match, by the way.
Yeah,
You're
it was
welcome.
fun.
Sorry about Shenpai leaving mid-match.
Yeah, that was weird because he didn't like just leave, right? It was actually
He disconnected, and it said it was a siege error, and then he couldn't rejoin.
because yeah, on our end, you probably saw the same message as I. It looked like BattlEye had removed him from the game, but like it wasn't a BattlEye ban, just him being removed. So
So who's our next game?
I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to give the results to Pharmacy, and he's gonna put them into the into challenge,
Okay.
and from that point on, we're gonna know who you're playing next.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
So yeah,
Thank
just
you.
keep an eye on the Discord server. Everything should be announced there.
Okay.
Till then, see you
Alright,
guys.
See ya.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.
Orion gets the round, right? Yeah, of course, Orion just won. What more? Why did they get spawn peaked? Because the spawn killing is enabled. Is allowed. Melusi is banned. Yeah, Melusi. It wasn't supposed to be played. So apparently Sage were memeing. Quite possible as well. This is going very well. Ryan gets the round right. They do. What ranked is whatever it's called. What is right? Sage. So Sage, they were ranging from copper to silver. But my question was, are they trolling? Are they on alt accounts on Smurfs? Or are these their unironical, you know, first accounts, mains? Is this really their skill level? I couldn't tell for sure, but, you know, their performances weren't the greatest. They still knew how to play the game, like they weren't obviously out of place, or they didn't obviously not know what to do. But still, things didn't plan out the way they wanted. So I'm gonna put the stream in a be right back screen, and as soon as the next match is ready, we will be, like I said, right back. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you soon, or actually we'll see you as soon as we can. All right, see you in a bit, and don't go anywhere, like I said.
location. seconds remaining. Attackers drop the bomb. Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Stay close to me!
Attackers dropped the diffuser. Drop the bomb. Attackers bombed the attackers activating. Seconds remaining.
Throwing frag.
Attackers drop the bomb diffuser. 10 seconds left. Defender disable the diffuser. Defender is approaching the kill zone. Defender exposed. Attackers bomb the Operate. Activating diffuser.
Warning devices.
Operator, you have run out of time. Operator, you have run out of time. Defender has left the area of operation. Attackers are activated.
But can we have a gentleman's agreement that I'm fine?
So here, I'm no referee, so I cannot really make a comment or, you know, make a decision on that. Moss does get detected by some antiviruses as a malware or as a virus simply because it is quite intrusive. But you can always safely ignore the antivirus warning or disable it or add it to, you know, a whitelist and allow it to run, you know, despite of the warning your antivirus is giving you.
I mean, both.
So I have to use it, even if it detects as a virus.
As far as I know, yes. Once again, I am no referee, so you're not really asking the right person here. But ultimately, the way it usually runs is if you don't have Moss, it
Gentleman's
doesn't.
agreement.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter unless the other team is asking for them, unless the other team is suspecting you of cheating. So if you guys want to go for a gentleman's agreement, of course, you are currently live on Twitch, right? So you'd have proof that the other team, you know, was agreeing to not run Moss. And again, I am the referee. I cannot make a definite comment on that, but I would assume it would be, you know, a considered a valid exchange of consent, you know?
Okay, Mashed, who is your IGO? Or your leader?
I'm gonna let them talk this through. Like I said, can't make a
whoever's
comment.
your leader, okay. So are you guys fine with doing the gentleman's agreement or not?
Yeah,
With
sure.
the Okay, so type that in chat if you like type in fully. Okay, we're also perfectly fine with the gentleman's agreement. There we go. Now
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have evidence that we're good.
So currently the you know the screen is quite small in my current UI on Twitch, but I do confirm that you know they wrote down that they were fine with having no mouse on. All right. So with that being said, it's easted on CUS to not give you know any Eastern or West Coast advantage, to be you know as fair as neutral as possible. If both of you guys or both of your teams are ready, I would be good to go.
We are ready.
Well, then good luck. Good luck. Have fun, and may the best team win.
Yes, sir.
And with that
luck,
being
have fun,
said,
good,
we
everybody.
are a go. Okay, I do have a few things I do want to just clean up on my screen because it was getting kind of cluttered on the second screen, you know, with the chat and everything. So, we are going to have our operator bands. And that map right here, Coastline, is quite interesting because it's not exactly, yo, what server? I just said that, CUS. That map right here is kind of interesting because it doesn't exactly play by the typical rules. What I mean by that is, for example, hard breaching is really, really not that important because it is really rare that you see a push that failed simply because the attackers failed to open up the reinforced walls, right? The fuck is CUS? Central US. Oh. Yeah, so this is a North American competition, but it feels like there are a few European teams participating. So, I don't know exactly what's happening here. Overture Academy... So I was not reading the chat too much here because I was focused on beginning the game or on starting the game. Let me just recuperate what was being said. It's actually Overture Academy, according to our last caster. Vibes will hurt you. Stop. OM God's man's bad him. He hurts my feelings. Is EU allowed? We ask pharmacy. So. Can make a comment on that. I guess pings will be high. Proly rules allow up to, I can't type, 150 milliseconds of ping. What are the pings now? Oh yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot. Okay, I have to ask pharmacy. So yeah, I will not be casting for the next few moments here because I'm gonna have to. I will just get into that one Discord channel and. I have another rule to ask you about, yeah, pharmacy, and because he is casting or he's co-hosting another game right now, so I'm not just barging in unannounced in his voice channel. And if he's not saying my message, I'm gonna have to do that. But he just responded to me, so he should be good to go. Hey, pharmacy, quick question. It looks like you have 1 or 2 American teams or European teams in the tournament. How does it work servers-wise? Because we are playing with. I mean, I was picking CUS as a default, but it looks like the pings are really high when doing so.
If both teams are fine to do East, then they should be fine to do East. But yeah, we did accept EU teams. However, yeah, the ping should be hopefully under 120. If it's above, it's not really that big of an issue. But if both teams
They
are
are.
fine
They
for
are. I
East-
mean, I'm seeing 260 right now.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, that's kind of crazy right there. That's if East, if both teams are fine with East, then East should be fine. But if not, then
Okay, I'll relay that to them.
Attackers' objective is to locate
Thank you.
the bomb and defuse it.
And well, I guess have a good cast for however long your game has you know, for however long your game is gonna last for.
yeah.
All right, thank you, man. So let's just relay that to them. Sorry for not like casting the competition too much. Farm said if both teams agree, we can rehost and play on Eastern US servers. It's Overture. Oh, Overture. I see where I made the mistake in the overlay. Sorry about that. Yeah, if there is a rehost happening, I will update that as well. I would absolutely so they're saying yes, please. It looks like we will be doing just that. In the meantime, however, so our first run is being played on Billiards. Just have to keep a log, right? Because a rehost seems to be coming. So both teams are in agreement. That is good. That is good news. Because right here, as you can see, the defense does have, you know, really high ping, and therefore, well, it seems to be putting them at a serious disadvantage when it comes to their firefights. Right here, Mashed will be, for example, facing down with Ash, and he's going to be missing bullet after bullet after bullet. Even though, you know, his aim was really steady, he had a good, you know, recoil control and all that good stuff. Not really indicative of, say, a, you know, silver level player that would just miss shot after shot after shot. So, Overture Academy, Overture, not Overture. Once again, the U there had no business being there. I realized that, just, you know, a little bit too late. And yeah, so this will be round number 1. I'll rehost. I just have to take a note of the other banned operators because I, you know, had a few other things to do at the same time. So we had another Mira being banned and Echo. We said no, we disagree. Oh. I hope they're not trolling me. Oh gosh. Because here, both teams had to agree on that front. So since there is no consensus, we are just going to keep on going the way we are. One thing I'll do, however, so Overture, sorry about mistyping your gamer tag. You know what I'll do to make up for this? Let me just pick that overlay instead. It is going to look out of place when we're not in game, but their name is going to be there, and I just realized I misspelled it there, just like I misspelled it in the actual in-game UI. So with that right here, it should hopefully help a little bit to say, forget about the blunder I made previously. So Mashed here, of course, after having lost the first defense, they're going to try to go for another Billiards hold. Let's see how that works out. I gotta say, I did not exactly, you know, pay too much attention at the defensive setup, because we had, you know, the other thing to take care of. So let's take a look at this right here. You will be seeing the Billiards wall reinforced. You'll also be seeing here, of course, VIP be protected. The left-hand side and the right-hand side of the doorway will also be barricaded up. So that means that basically you can be setting on the left side, on the right-hand side, and try to strafe, try to fast peek to deny access from the balcony. It remains to be seen who exactly will be holding the angle, but pretty quickly, one thing that is going to become quite obvious is that Mashed, they will be updating their play styles a little bit, because in the face-to-face firefight, considering the pings that they currently have, things are not going to be looking too easy or too good for them. It might not be the case just yet, but I would not be surprised if they were to start picking operators that might be considered a bit cheaper, in the sense that you don't exactly need too much of a gun skill to get kills with them. For example, here you do see the goo mines, right? Because once again, face-to-face firefights are going to put Mashed at a huge disadvantage. I mean, 122 or 113 a ping is the lowest that we have right here, and that would still be considered huge. C3 saying it's rigged. Once again, I am so sorry, but guys, I'm no referee. I cannot decide or apply the rules. I can only ask Farm for his advice. And you know, you heard him just like I said, right? So there is going to be Jamie right here, but he's going to be peeking directly into Incesto's line of bullets. He is holding the angle, not quite getting the kill though, so that is unfortunate. But hey, and right there he will eventually get a frag, but that's going to be on Fried Potato. You still do have Jamie roaming. Oh, and since Big T was droning, that would have been an easy kill, but no, he's just rushing back up and losing a few more, you know, slivers of health in the meantime. Unfortunate here, Mashed is not going to get his teammate revived, and that is exactly where the ping is going to be a major factor. Without really standing a chance, you're going to have Fry being just gunned down mercilessly. Mashed just the same, and there you have it. Wilk, the last player alive.
bomb diffuser.
Zeke Wilk, I want to say, is going to find himself in a 1v3 situation. He is Valkyrie, so I mean, there's a Valk in the composition. His dead teammates were probably feeding intel, but that was just, you know, too little, too late, and now we're going to be seeing a 2-0 score line. It is really unfortunate because, of course, right, both teams have won their first match, and both teams have earned their place in the second round here. But still, it looks like it's going to be an uphill battle for Mashed Disciples. And yeah, when I said the overlay is going to look out of place, it's exactly here that it is hiding some other UI elements. Okay, so yeah, Overture Gaming, they did manage to beat their previous opponent 8-6 against Team Clougy. Is it a Q or a J? It is quite hard to tell right here. It is a Q, so Team Clougy. And I didn't see that game, but I believe it was casted before. And therefore, I mean, their victory was assured, right? Team Disciples against Mashed Disciples. That is two team names that are sounding really similar. The scores have been entered as 1-0, so basically, of course, you know, they won the one map and didn't lose any. It's a best of one after all. But I cannot tell you by how big of a margin they won. Did they absolutely brutally bash their opponents before, or was it, you know, a narrow victory as far as the orange team's first game here is concerned? I couldn't tell you if I was to use this to I forgot what I was going to say, because C3, yeah, I do read the chat. There is a delay, right? There is 3 minutes of delay to prevent any spawn snipe or any stream sniping or stream hacking, however you might want to call it. So yes, I do see the chat. It's just that whenever I respond to your comments, it takes 3 minutes for you to hear it, because once again of the delay. No spawn speaking confirmed. No instant. Yeah, so it looks like everybody knows about that. Or, you know, except for the one guy that was asking. But then again, this is why you're better off asking questions rather than working on false assumptions, or, you know, just taking things for granted. Okay. Relic. So it looks. One thing is for sure. It looks like Overture. They do have a few followers, or a bit of a community going on, because we have a lot more people in the chat this game around compared to the previous one. And I do have to keep an eye on the chat, but that is also going to be a slight distraction as far as casting is concerned, because of course, unfortunately, I do not have a mod in chat right now. Jamie here is going to get the first kill on Impulse, so that is going to be first blood for the orange team, something we have not seen before, and that's going to be, you know, a good opening move for them. Unfortunately, Aimbot here is going to get a kill immediately on Mashed Potato, and therefore the advantage, the numerical advantage that the defenders had, is now going to be vanishing in thin air. Map control wise, things are looking decently interesting for Overture, right? They do have top floor control and all, but it's only going to be a partial top floor control. Jimmy is still there, and it seems like they don't know he's there. But yeah, apparently he was expected, and Define was there to murder him. You'll also have Fire right here, but he will also get taken out of the picture pretty quickly, leaving us with a 2v4 situation. The defenders themselves, they are going to be backs against the wall, so to say. Fried isn't exactly holding on to the OBJ itself, right? He's watching the hallway right there, which is good and all. It serves both a purpose and is kind of a liability. First and foremost, he's not going to deny a plant with the diffuser. Right here, he's going to fall down, leaving us with your Doc in a 1v4 situation. And there are many different angles from which he could be pushed. And, you know, the thing is, he can only watch one angle at a time. So he is going to be in an extremely precarious situation. He is going to vault right here directly into the line of bullets. But Ascento is not going to get the kill here. Still, Doc's position at this point is known, and there's next to nothing he can do. Is this a Pro League T-Hunt Games? I could not tell you. But one thing is for sure, I mean, looking how no matter as unfortunate as it is, Mashed playstyle and way of doing things, it does speak of a team that does know its way around, right? They're not moving, they're not preparing, they're not behaving like a bunch of silvers. So right here, as unfortunate as it is, it was over 66. 86, the Overture game. Yeah, I was referring to the other one. When I said I didn't know exactly what the outcome was. But the thing is, you know, MASH Disciples here, they are moving or they're playing as if they know what they're doing, right? I don't believe them, or I don't expect them to be low levels. But the ping is just too big of a disadvantage for them to be able to do anything convincing. So at this point, things are going to be looking pretty difficult for them, because sometimes you say, okay, the one team is just making a few dumb mistakes, just wake up, change your mindset, and you should be good to go. Here, there's no easy solution, right? You would have to really rely on, you know, those quote-unquote cheap strategies, such as getting killed with a few trap operators. You know, Frost getting 1 or 2 lucky kills would be a huge help to the team as a whole. Right here, my great question would be, what are the rankings? Because I had not taken a look at them before the match actually started. It looks like we're going to be hovering around the platinum to high gold level. Oh, aimbot here will be silver 4 and gold 1. Okay, so that's going to be team number 1. And Mashed Disciples will be hovering, you know, around the same skill level. There's no way he is actually unranked. Not that he's like not ranked, just like he's not a new player that has never played ranked, right? Gold 3 and then platinum 3. So yeah, skills wise or MMR wise, these teams seem to be fairly well balanced. And right here, the spawn killing attempt is not going to work. Impulse is going to lose a lot of health, but he still comes out on top. Some people, referring to, you know, the MMRs that we've just scanned from the players, some people might be quick to point out that MMRs and rankings are not exactly the best way to judge of a team's skill level. And right here, you weren't aiming directly, as I said, that's unfortunate. But thing is, the MMRs and the rankings are basically the only tool that Ubisoft do put at our disposal to judge or to evaluate a player's skill level. So it might not be the best or the worst tool ever. I mean, there is a debate to be had there. Ultimately, we don't have any other tools at our disposal, so that is what we're going to be using here. So fire with a spawn kill is going to put the situation at an unfortunate 4v5 at the beginning of the round. But other than that, it was not, you know, a heads down crazy aggressive rush, because of course you don't want to just take things for granted. Overture, they're still going to be taking their sweet time, and they're still going to make sure that the opening is safe. For example, right here, Fried overshooting by some margin, and right here not aware for some reason that Big TB was going to be above, leaving us with Jammy, who barely got healed. So that is going to help him out a lot. Now with a 1v4 and a 1v3 situation, that's actually going to be a 1v2 now. Nice double kill from him, and he has not lost any health in the process. He is going to have to rely on extremely heavy pre-fires. However, like I said, the ping is going to be a huge factor that is going to work against him. So he will have to counterbalance that by a lot. And unfortunately, he can't really play for time. There's over a minute remaining on the timer, and therefore, I mean, eventually the attackers will funnel in. It seems like they're trying to flank or to open up a second line of sight there. Big T probably repelling right here, as Define himself will just keep on mounting the pressure from the doorway, and that is going to put a good crossfire on Jamie. Right, he is not going to have an easy way out there. Saying hi Mash in chat, that might be a bit of a distraction, but hey. And Jamie here just is stubbornly staying alive, and he is playing it really well, to be honest. I mean, he's playing for time. He is just not going to get the wall bang done, or, you know, the blind fire down. And Overture Academy winning round number 4. That is going to be a 4-0 situation here. Of course, things are still not looking too great, but I still do feel like Mashed's situation is improving, though marginally, right? They didn't get beaten flat out. It was not, you know, a blowout round. The spawn kill at the beginning may have worked, but he just, you know, aimed wide. And it came down to a 2v1. Ultimately, you know, there was some back and forth happening. Rank doesn't matter. Yeah, that's basically what I was kind of arguing over there. And yeah. You guys really do like to root for Overture Academy, or Overture Gaming, sorry. Overture Gaming, hashtag Overture Gaming all the way. Have you ever played this game competitively? I have, but rarely, to be honest. I barely, if at all, play, because I spend so much time streaming and casting. But yeah, I'm not the greatest player there is. So, all in all, it is going to be, you know, like I said, a marginal improvement from Mashed. They are capable of holding their own, but only so much. How many hours do I have in Siege? I don't know the number at the top of my head. You know what? Let me just open up Uplay on the side, and I'm going to tell you that. Well, you can see it here. I have 647 hours, so not even 1,000 for somebody that's played since the somebody that has played since the closed beta. This is not a lot. But like I said, I'm not the greatest player. I'm really, you know, spending all of my hours running the game while casting. This is T4 gameplay. I gotta say it is, because you don't see any diamonds. You know the strats here aren't revolutionary. Sorry for pronunciation, but ultimately, right? These are more or less the default strats. They're not reinventing the wheels, or they're not putting their unique twists on what you would expect to see, right? And the composition here. Looking, for example, the way of playing the game or reinforcing here. By the way, one of these walls won't be even electrified. The aquarium wall hasn't been reinforced. No reinforcement here either. You know, fairly basic and expected stuff. You do have Jamie roaming, so he got a nice kill on Ascento, but now you can really expect him to be a tracked man. So aimbot will be looking his way. They really do want to flush him out before committing to a push bomb site itself, because of course they will have a roamer in their backs if not. But Jamie is kind of good at evading here. Couldn't tell if it's like by luck or, you know, by knowledge, intel, and all that good stuff, but he is going to be avoiding his opponents. He did get shot at from over there. No, maybe not. It was just it was impulse, just firing blindly, doing whatever he was currently doing. So all in all, Jimmy got a frag, and he was unpunished. No refrag has happened. He hasn't been cut off. He's not like paralyzed, waiting for the trap to spring or anything along those lines. And it looks like Fred is also going to be getting a kill on his own. And for the first time, basically now another kill. It looks like Overture, they are going to be kind of on the back foot here. Things can still go, you know, both ways. If they were to play this right, okay, at this point, you know, getting the ace is a bit of a stretch, but still, Define is going to have to attempt it. There's a few good pieces of news for him. First of all, his position doesn't seem to be known, so he is not going to be actively, you know, wall banged, or he's not going to receive a nitro cylinder at his feet, just like his teammates before him. He has most of his health and a lot of time to work with. However, both of these advantages just disappeared. He has lost a lot of health. His position, if it wasn't known, now it is. And all in all, he is visibly really low on intel. He doesn't know where his opponents are going to be. He doesn't know when and where to push or to peek. And generally speaking, he doesn't know what to do. You can really see he actively expects somebody to be at every single angle he peeks, which, you know, we of course see that nobody's playing this aggressively. Nobody's playing this aggro. And therefore, he is, you know, being extremely cautious. But that is going to be extremely costly for time, first and foremost, right? Plus, you know, for example, those pre-fires, if they still didn't know if he was going to push through lounge or luggage, now it's known. Okay, so at this point, Overture, they are in a tough spot. Ben is going to be peeking in, and he was unaware of that. This is what will happen, and Mashed Disciples will win their first round as a result of this. Like I said, the ping is a solid disadvantage, but ultimately, it is not the be-all, end-all. It is going to be somewhat more difficult for Mashed Disciples to win their rounds compared to Overture Academy, but they can still do it, and that's... can we rehost? Yeah. Leave. I will invite them back. Just give me a few quick moments. This is T4 gameplay. Hi Wolf. Mashed Disciples is unlikely to win, but you gotta root for people I know. Yeah, if you put champion stacks versus a CCS team, even if it's a SCL team, they will slam the champions. Yeah. I mean, ranked and competitive play absolutely differently from one another. It is day and night. It's totally different. Caster is supposed to be entertaining, and you're pretty entertaining. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. I'm also receiving a few Discord notifications. Always have to keep an eye on that. Okay, it is nothing that has to do with the tournament management. I mean, if somebody there was, for example, there was something I was doing wrong or something that had to be brought to my attention, I have to keep an eye out for my Discord notifications, but here it was just not the case. So that's going to be good news as far as we're concerned. Our game was Coastline. Our band operators were, give me half a second, Maverick Capitao. Somewhat odd operator bands, might I add. Mira Echo, of course, would be standard, but for example, the only hard-reaching operator I would expect to see banned here would be Hibana, because first and foremost, hard breaching on this map isn't like as major as it is on, for example, Clubhouse, right? So taking Thatcher, taking Maverick out of the play is not too important. You know, a push on this map rarely lives or dies by the hard breaching capabilities, be it if they were to be a success or not. Same bands, otherwise it's unfair. Yeah, true. Bands need to be the same. Yeah, don't worry about that. We do have the same bands. Yeah, don't worry. I have the same bands in here. So yeah, that was Jamie joining in, and now I'm gonna need Define from the other team. Okay, so item number 2 is gonna be our rounds history. So first round has been played on billiards and has been won by the blue team. Oh, this is gonna be easy. Billiards again, then kitchen, then billiards, but round number 5 has actually been won by orange team. Now let's just name the teams, and this time let's not make the same mistake. OVERTURE, a CAD, because there's a character's limit, and orange team is going to be meshed with 2 Ds, and the Parastra feed does not render well. Meshed disciple. Okay. Yeah, so the operator bands have been set. The round history has also been entered. So we will be resuming basically at round number 6 with a 4-1 situation. Okay. What's more? I am still receiving notifications. This time, however, it is going to be... Yeah, all that is good. Yeah, so the run you won was counted. You do have 1 point.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the last poke right here, the last notification I had on Discord was regarding the competition. Okay. So I thought that might be a good moment to recoup with the chat. For example, can we get hashtag Overture Gaming in chat? So here, is it...
We are still on Central, correct?
We are still on Central.
Okay.
Hello, what's 60 face? Well, thank you for that. I'm gonna take this as a compliment. And hashtag Outback Gay. I cannot say that I like this map, so yeah, kind of makes sense. Like, the one thing is, the map itself is something, but the exterior might be overlooked, but I don't like it. For example, there is no rappel. There is no window that is going to be straight on a wall. There is a balcony all the way around the freaking map. And the thing is, balconies do make runouts trivially easy. Like, rappelling on Blackbeard, holding a strong angle and cutting off the rotations, this is a, big part of the balancing. But when you have a balcony in the second window that makes runout trivially easy, that is going to, basically negate Amaru can just rush in and be a freaking monkey. Capitao can also not be, or not Capitao, rather. Blackbeard cannot be a strong operator. Cannot watch the angles and all that good stuff. So I don't really like this map if it was just for the exterior. Not without even talking about the interior layout, which is what all of you guys already know about, right? So are you guys ready to start? We will be resuming 4-1.
What did you say, Hans?
Are you ready to start?
Yes, we are.
So yeah, the 5 first rounds that have been played are counted. It is going to be a 4-1 scoreline. The operator bands are also going to be present, so we're basically resuming exactly where we left off. 4-1, yes, for Overture Academy for the blue team. Incorrect. So, with that being said, good luck, have fun, and may the best team win. Nice try, though.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Yeah, so it was somewhat small on the overlay, but yeah, so they were kind of asking, hey, Mesh does have 4 points, right? I'm sorry, but it doesn't exactly work like that. Plus, this time around, I have not made a stupid spelling mistake, so we will no longer be needing the unfortunate overlay that we have right here, because, the operator bands are kind of covering Define and Impulse's picks on the attacker side, on the defense. Yeah. So let me just put this back in stats. Overlay? That does look better, doesn't it? Oh yeah, plus we're no longer on round 1. We are now on round number 2. That will also make some sense. And here we go. Okay. Yeah. I'm Theos R6. Yeah, you... I'm gonna take what you said as a compliment. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So looking at this right here, of course, we have just had a win on Billiards. Therefore, without any surprises, the Mash Disciples cannot go there again. What will they do instead? It is, of course, going to be a Kitchen hold without any surprises, right? Kitchen would be generally considered as a secondary bomb site. Though, I gotta say, Blue Bar, in recent years, in recent weeks, months, has seen a bit more traffic to it. It's not too many, not every team is going to go there unironically as their second bomb site. But the one team that does come to mind would be Axios. For those of you who don't know, they play in the Canadian Challenger League. So not exactly PL level, not yet at least. But they still, generally speaking, do know what they're doing. And so it looks like basically defending Blue Bar is quite viable. But hypothetically, the defense has a bit of nuance to it. And therefore, this is why, you know, some other teams won't go there first and foremost. But hey, ultimately, it was just a parenthesis and a footnote because I'm talking about Blue Bar for nothing. We're not actually playing there tonight. So. It is going to be a Kitchen, like I said, defense with a few twists compared to the previous defense. You know, of course, Mash, they have attempted to hold it the third round. Didn't work out too well for them. This time around, we will be playing with a Castle, so he is going to be able to cut off, you know, a heads-down rush should Overture be too aggressive or too quick. But ultimately, they are not the kind of team that will just, you know, pick Blitz, pick Finka, pick Ash, just juice the players up and have them rush heads down into the fire. That's not how it works. So Castle, yeah, I mean... Ultimately, Impulse can destroy it pretty quickly with the breaching charge, though it would not be too good of an idea. Big can also destroy it in a matter of seconds, and if not, you know, knifing it is also gonna do the trick. So ultimately, the Castle Barricades are there to play for time, and yeah, we're not exactly going into the late stages of the round ever. Therefore, you know, getting a few dozen seconds is unlikely to make or break the defense. Jamie, however, is holding an interesting angle right here. Of course, he wants to deny access to the aquarium area. Would it be? Yeah, it's going to be Aimbot right here, who will be likely to be the first one to realize that there's a bit of danger. But oh no, Jamie firing too early, revealing his position without actually getting a kill in return. So that is going to be unfortunate, but he is going to have to pull back just in time to have Fire try a similar trick. He is also going to be shooting wide. He tried, but he was too little too late. I mean, ultimately, you know, tossing an Nitro Cell and pulling out the phone to call it takes a bit of time, and that was more than enough for Impulse to just run back and stay clear of the blast zone. So, that was, you know, contact being made on 2 or 3 different fronts at this point. Nobody has died. Impulse has lost a bit of health. Mashed, all 5 of their players still have 100% of health. So... ultimately, I could not give the the tactical advantage to either teams. Timer is slowly running down. Overture do seem to have, you know, top floor control, so that would be at least something. Jamie would be in the area. Fried is also there, and that drone, was it Impulse who wants to get in? He is going to try to go for the wall bangs, and it almost works. Actually, Fried is extremely low. That wall bang, had it been, you know, just a bit more insistent, might actually have gotten a kill. Though ultimately, Fried, he might be low on health. There is a dock in the composition, plus you only need, you know, 1 hit point worth of health to actually have a gun fire and get an ace. Though it is unlikely and quite difficult, you are still a really viable threat. Jamie's gonna get killed on Impulse at the very same time, so of course Ash is now gonna be taken out of the picture. And since she was basically alone, it's gonna be an entire arm to the push that gets shut down. So this will also, you know, alleviate the pressure for Jamie, for Fried, who can now turn their attention elsewhere to, you know, deny the attackers wherever they're coming from this time around. Plus, I was speaking about how we are rarely, if ever, going into the late stages of the round. It looks like things are evolving to be somewhat different, as the Diffuser is now being planted by Define, and Castle was going to attempt to deny that, but it didn't work out too well. Now with a 2v4 situation, things are looking extremely dire for Mashed Potato. So I would assume, you know, the team owner or team founder, something along those lines, is going to have to try a Hail Mary. He is rotating quite aggressively, right? There's somebody on his far left side, and he didn't realize that. Fried in a 1v4 situation. Now he still has a Nitro Cell. That might work. He gets a kill, but of course, when you have your phone in your hand, the gun is not up, and that allows Overture Gaming to win their 5th round. And therefore, it's going to be a 5-1 scoreline for the role swap. So yeah, things are looking somewhat dire. How are the pings now? They are likely to be fairly similar because, of course, right, Overture Gaming, they did not agree to rehost on the different servers, so we're still in Central US. So rehosting won't have affected that, you know, particular detail of the game. We are not in a round currently, so the pings tend to be slightly higher because of the loadings, right? When we're in between 2 rounds. But yeah, nothing too major here. Ultimately, you know, on the blue side, pings are what I would consider normal. When I said like I said, right, pings are spiking up here. You saw 108, 128, and it jumps back down. So the same is also going to be true for Mashed. Unfortunately, Mashed, even though the pings are going down, they're not going down nearly enough to make this an even fight. Sorry, but that's just the way things are. Okay. So, it is now going to be an Overture's defense, and the one thing I do like to focus on whenever we have the role swap is what are the differences between the one and the other teams' playstyles. Like, for example, we didn't exactly see anybody playing with Wamai when Mash were defending, so that may bring a bit of a, you know, breathe a puff of fresh air into the playstyles and into the game itself. Aimbot is also going to be picking Maestro. I don't believe Mash were playing him either. They picked him once, though. Other than that, on the offense, nothing is going to be too surprising or too revolutionary, right? Jamie with Ash, no surprises there. Thatcher is going to be an odd one because, of course, there is no Hibana or Thermite, Maverick having been banned. And therefore, hard breaching is not, or hard breaching support is not why Thatcher has been picked. Do you really just want to pick him to get rid of, say, the magnets? First and foremost, and secondarily, the goo mines, yeah, might be possible. But, yeah, that would be, you know, an operator, a whole set of utility used to counteract, I want to say, fairly minor annoyances on the defensive side. So, yeah, I'm going to be left wondering here, but apparently this is what Mashed are going to be running with. Jamie will be repelling right here, so cutting off rotation, that can be quite interesting, of course, because that is, you know, in practice going to be paralyzing aimbot wherever he stands, and therefore, by being immobile as he is quite vulnerable to, for example, say, Fried Potato here, just using his buck shotgun to breach the ceiling. If, you know, they do get a line of sight on aimbot, that could be a quick end to him. But he is going to rotate out, and Jamie, for some reason, failing to cut off that rotation. He still lost, you know, a sliver of health, but it's ultimately minor. And, you know, if that was to be the price for freedom, I would gladly pay it if I was in his shoes. So Fred really did not play verticality too much, or actually he did try it a little bit, but those openings were turned against him. Impulse getting a nice kill here, or Define rather, getting a nice kill, just as Impulse gets another one, leaving us with a 2v5 situation. Things are, yeah, they're going to be difficult for him. Still, Mashed and Ziki are gonna have to attempt it. It looks like nobody's watching the angle directly, so you know he can run in with some nifty pre-fires, but ultimately he did not know where Mashed was gonna be, so he aimed wide. And at this point, you really do have to blame a lack of intel for that more than anything else. There is gonna be Impulse here who got caught off guard, and that can easily happen when you have, you know, a 5v1 situation. You kind of get cocky, you kind of assume you have map control because of course there's only but one attacker remaining, and therefore there can be only one room that's actually under the attacker's control. And what are the odds, right? But yet Ziki has to be somewhere, and that's how he got the kill on Impulse. But still, his advantage kind of ends there, right? He is now in a 1v4 situation, low on time. His health is pretty good, doesn't have diffuser, and he is slowly but surely going to be using up his utility. So the Inox, that was his second to last ping. Sento is not too likely to be, you know, heavily pre-fired or shot at, considering Ziki's current situation or current positioning. And what can you do, right? You have to rush in, but the timer is running pretty slow. Smoke canisters are in there, and of course, right, he was just not ready at all. Arbitrary Gaming winning round number 7 and putting this in a match point situation. And Sento, even though he was pinged, even though his position was known, even though on paper he was on a slight disadvantage, hey, he was still good to go. Waiting to see who I've got to cast. Hi, Pank TV, how are you doing? How are your matches, by the way? Because here I am sorry, but this is going to be a blowout game. Even though Mashed are doing their best, the ping is just unforgivable. You cannot play competitively with over 200 milliseconds of ping and expect a fair fight. I mean, at this point, it is a technical limitation, and that is, you know, nothing that is in our control. We cannot do anything about the current situation, but it still puts Mashed at a heavy disadvantage. I mean, I am going to repeat myself for those of you who were there near the beginning of the game, and for those of you who weren't, welcome back. We did look at the MMR, at the ranking, at the, you know, ranks of the players. And I know, that's what I said earlier, I know that some people are quick to point out that rankings and MMRs are not exactly a good indicator of a player's skill level and capabilities. And there is some merit to that. I mean, we can open up the debate if you guys want to, right? But ultimately, this is like the singular tool that Ubisoft puts at our disposal to judge and to quantify a player's skill. So that's the tool I'm going to use right now. And I'm not going to go through again, okay? But the ranks were pretty similar on both sides. So assuming the ping wasn't to be such an issue, we could actually hope for a decently fair fight. Once again, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Okay, so Mashed, now with a Hail Mary, backs against the wall. If they lose this round, it is over. They can no longer afford any mistakes or any slip-ups whatsoever. What is it going to be? We are going to be bringing a few operators which, you know, care very little about a high ping. For example, here, Ziki with the shield. If you get fast peaked, and if you don't have time to react, once again, due to the added delay that you have with every single one of your reactions, the shield is not really going to care about that, right? And Define is realizing this basically on the fly. He shot directly at the silhouette, but there was a shield between him and, let's say, Ziki's juicy hitbox. So that can be quite useful to gain intel, maybe get the diffuser planted right if you want to pop the smokes and then have the shield on the back. But ultimately, Ziki is only as good as his support around him is going to be, because of course on his own he cannot just pop the smoke and get to planting. That's never going to work. So for example here, Mashed will have to get 1 kill or 2 to soften up the defenses before they can actually commit to planting the diffuser down. Fry is pushing from the other side, so he's currently in office droning blue bar. And Impulse right here could be a grave danger to him. That is actually going to work. He gets a double kill by doing so, and therefore he could, on paper at the very least, still get the ace. Looking for a third, it looks like he's going to find it, but that was probably Jamie's shield. Yeah, exactly, right here. Therefore, unfortunately, no third kill is going to happen. Though he is going to be quite insistent here. Unfortunately, Mashed Potato has been gunned down by, I believe, Aimbot. Therefore, no ace is no longer possible. But, you know, if you still want to flat out beat your opponent, the flawless round, losing no single defender is still, or would still be considered as a mark of honor. Though, once again, it's not exactly a fair match. Jamie is going to have to attempt it. Heavy pre-fires are going to happen. He hears a nitro cell. He has to run out, and somehow he didn't take any damage dealt to himself. But right here, you will be seeing aimbot get the kill on Zeke. Jamie thus backs against the wall, gets the first kill. Will he get the ace? It seems unlikely, but he does get 2 in rapid succession. Unfortunately for him, right, he lost a lot of health in the process. So the rate at which he lost health in the process of getting a kill, if he was to keep that rate going for another engagement, he'd die right then and there. Let's just hope for his sake, or let's hope that that doesn't happen if you're actually rooting for Overture, that he finds, you know, a more efficient way of dispatching or taking care of his opponents. Because, I mean, at this point, an Evil Eye might be a legitimate threat for him, which is something you don't see too often. Okay. So Pank saying everything is great. This is looking like a win for Overture. It is. It is. There's no way of sugarcoating this. The pings just were an evil predicament for Match Disciples to be in. And there you have it. Overture winning this with a brutal 7-1 win. I mean, it was not even a fair fight. There was no real way to defend against that. Unfortunate. But there you have it. So I would usually, or just last game, I did poke Pharmacy to say, hey, this is how the game ended. But since Farm was in the chat a few moments ago, let me just see if he's still there. Thank you, by the way, Twitch, for giving us this kind of tools. Yeah, Pharmacy still in the chat right here. So Farm, I guess you know how the match ended. You welcome. And yeah, so this was a brutal game. Yeah, GG's. You tried your best, but then again, I mean, the pings were not forgiving whatsoever. So, yeah. Hey, better luck next time. Still, you did play great. You tried your best. I mean, you were able to win a round. You didn't give up. That is for sure. I mean, tilting and you know, just being aggravated at your teammates is not something I saw from your play style, and that would have been the single worst thing to do. All right, so GG's. Best of luck for your next game, and see you around. Okay, yeah, so I am gonna have to poke Farm. Give me half a second. And I believe this was it for today, because if I remember correctly, there were only 2 matches planned for today. Am I right? Because then, I mean, then we did have Pank and chat saying, I'm waiting to see who I'm going to cast. Are you going to cast them tomorrow? Should I, close off the stream, or... Let me just ask a question or two. 721. Oh, of course, Overtures were the one to win. That's it for today, right? Let me just ask him that, and as soon as we have a response, I will be either properly closing down the stream or preparing the next game. Let's take half a second for a response. So yeah, all in all, the 2 games that we had today were unfortunately blowouts matches, but those do tend to happen. So I guess this is going to be something along the lines of thank you for being here. He's saying let me check. Okay, so we're going to have to keep an eye out. It might be the end of the game, or the end of the stream might not be. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how that goes. Let me just... Okay, so that has been taken care of. Okay, so he did confirm, because of course, right, after having a few games played, by being elimination, you will have fewer and fewer teams by the end of every round. And yeah, so I will not have any more games to cast today. So thank you all for being here. The other games, of course, will be casted, but just not by me. So Pharmacy has posted somewhere, probably in his Twitter and all that good stuff, a link to the different casters' channels and their socials and all that good stuff. So you can just go on that post to find the channels, goddamn pronunciation, the channels that will be online as of now. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as this stream is concerned, that'll be it for us tonight. So once again, thank you all for being here. Congratulations for to Overture for winning in such a beautiful manner. Best of luck for your next games. But until then, have a good night. Take it easy, and yeah, good games for the upcoming games. All right, see you guys.
Swapping mag. Stagger's bomb diffuser has been dropped. location. Attackers dropped into